Good morning, everyone. Today I'm joined by Talia Borden of EPC, Ultma's Trainee of the Year Award for 2023. Hi, Talia. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Nice and busy at the moment.
Yeah. How have you been since Pesticon?
Very good. We've picked up a lot of work and reflected on EPC and how it's sort of helped us with these awards as well. So it's been good.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so you've been chipping away. I'm just going to fire away into the questions. Can you tell us a bit about you and your journey in pest control and what's inspired you towards this career?
Yeah. So I actually sort of just fell into pest control in the middle of or at the start of COVID. So where I originally was working went bankrupt throughout COVID, and then I found a office job with EPC. So I actually started in the office, but I told my boss that I was bored. So he got me to apply for my pest control trainee license, and then I went out on the road, and ever since then I've been a bit of a mixture of everything. So I now am on the road whenever I need to be. I can work within the office, I can work remotely while on the road or in the office as well. And I also help out with some of the sales that go through. And the only reason I've been able to do the sales is because I've got my trainee license, so I can understand what needs to be discussed with those clients.
Okay, that sounds great. In regards to the trainee application, was there any process or any part of it, like how did you handle that sort of application process and the starting of it? Was it difficult at all?
Um, I wouldn't say difficult, maybe a little bit confusing at the start. There's a lot that you have to sort of put into the application, and everything has to be correct, and then you need to get it all back and make sure you've got everything back before you can go on the road. And then maybe a little bit daunting at the start because it was such a different area to what I was used to. I thought being in the office and hearing what they all did on the road and stuff would be so, oh, easy, it'll be fine. Then I went out and I was a bit like, oh, okay, there's a lot, but it was a good learning curve.
Yeah, and you would obviously enjoy the time out on site. What's your
Yeah.
favorite thing to do out on site?
My favorite thing I'd say is just going around to all the different sites. Like, I don't like being in one place constantly. So bouncing to all the different sites, getting to see all the customers and having conversations with them, and them just touching base on where we're at and us touching base on where they are. It's rewarding to just see the relationships that you build just by going to certain sites a couple of times and then just building those across time.
And so variety, like customer satisfaction are probably key
Yeah.
points there. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so winning the trainee award, it's pretty significant achievement. What does it mean to you personally, and then what does it mean to you professionally?
Personally, I think it just proves that everything I have put into EPC and pest control has sort of or is paying off. It shows that the work I'm doing isn't going unnoticed. So personally, it was a big achievement that I am doing well, and I am in a field that is respecting me. And professionally, well, it just helps massively. Not that I wasn't respected before, but my colleagues were all super proud of me and happy with the outcome. It's just something that I can throw in there at times when I'm out talking to people, and the happiness that comes off them. It's just rewarding professionally as well.
I can really tell that you are very supported by EPC and the group of professionals you've got around you, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
What do you think the key challenges for women are in the pest control industry, if any?
Um, in my opinion, there isn't challenges for women. I think there's challenges in any field that you go into to work for. There'll be good days, bad days, easy days, hard days. It's just a matter of getting through those days and making goals for yourself and reaching the goals that you've set instead of goals that maybe other people set for you, and just focusing on your own improvement and own growth.
Yeah, so that it's open slather. It's basically open to you to do whatever you like, and
Yeah.
equal opportunity and just pushing forward regardless. I would agree.
Yeah.
In relation to your on-site work or your pest work, what are some of the notable projects you've worked on and some of the strategies you've engaged to progress those?
So one of my favorite sort of jobs, which it's funny because I hate bird work, but I love bird work at the same time.
Yeah.
So one of my most memorable um, jobs that I did was a bird job where we had to get height equipment out, and we had to spend a whole day just gelling a wall of an apartment building that just had birds nesting off the wall. But it was just such a great learning curve. We got the machine bogged, so that was a great learning curve to figure out how to undo that.
Problem solving. Yep.
Yeah, so it was just problem solving on how to actually now time manage our day since we now have a problem. But I think it was just really rewarding. Like, it was such a different job to what we usually do, like in normal integrated pest management jobs. It was fun. The team was involved. There was other people. It wasn't just one person on the site. So I think that was one of my most memorable jobs. It was a good job. Had good learning curves to it and showed a different aspect of control.
Yeah, so obviously we work with a lot of different clients and pests. How do you tailor the solutions to suit them? Is there a specific thing that you do to, find out what their needs are?
So for me, it's getting to know the person and the site that I'm on. There's no point in pushing for what is just generic sort of thing. Figuring out what they need and what they want is the most important thing, and then using your own knowledge to inform them of all the things that are industry required, but making sure that they understand it and it's said in a way that they will understand it. It can be quite a tricky thing to understand from someone who has no idea, but I always just relate it back to when I started. And if I could understand what someone was explaining to me, I use that and allow them to understand it, and just make sure I answer the questions that they have instead of brushing them off or not answering them in a fulfilled way.
Yeah, so making sure you go into detail and that they've understood it, regardless of whether that's in layman's terms or you've had to sort of position it so that they can understand fully the requirements that you have and also the requirements that you understand their requirements. So it's just a positive communication back and forth. Yeah, I would absolutely agree. What are some of the innovative or environmentally friendly pest control methods that EPC have employed that you are aware of and that you would like to tell us about?
Yeah, I think one of our biggest things that we have, which actually helps us with a lot of clients, is our online reporting and quoting systems. So with our online reports, it has photo capabilities, all the chemicals that we use, a full written up report. So not only does it show that the technician was actually on that site and has been there and completed that service, but we can include photos of things that aren't necessarily even pest control related, just something that we can show the client that we're sending that report to, hey, something's wrong, just so you know, this isn't an added thing that we've found. It really just shows that we're doing the best that we can and completing that service to the best of our ability.
And essentially going above and beyond, really, because you're notifying them of things that may not be related to pest or anything, that we're doing, but also, hey, this is an issue. And I think I really love that. I think it's really important to people to be notified if there's something out of order. It just shows them that you actually care, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can you discuss the importance of ongoing education and training in the pest control industry and sort of relate it back to how that's contributed to your success?
Yeah, so I think ongoing training is really important, whether that's going on site with a senior technician and learning off them, or whether it's doing online courses. I think it's extremely important to just keep your knowledge up. You never have learned everything. There's always room to grow and things to learn. And if you're not open to that, then you're only going to stay at the place you're in. You're never going to be able to improve yourself and improve your knowledge to help yourself and the business grow. So it's important to allow yourself to have time to learn things and be involved in networking and all other training things that you can, and all those opportunities are important to take.
Yeah. And from your perspective, if you were to say get a friend into the industry or find someone who's just fallen into the industry, what would you say is the best way for them to get embedded and get some education and knowledge? What's the best step forward?
Yeah, the best step forward, I would say, would be joining all these groups. So becoming part of the Australian Women's Pest Management Association, making sure they're on all the sites and able to understand all the other companies, not just the one that they're a part of. Doing all their online training, all their on-site training, making sure that they're even just going to road shows and PestEcon events and being able to open their knowledge to how other people do things and exploring what's just beyond what they've been taught in that small group
To be
of
really
people.
open to that variety and open to
Yeah,
all the opportunities that are out there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
how do you see the pest control evolving, our industry evolving in Australia over the coming years? And what do you think women can do as a part of this to further it?
I think it's constantly growing. It's constantly having new ways and new methods that are implemented. I think both women and men are making it grow massively. It has such a good balance now of women and men in it that just sort of they balance each other out, and there's ideas from one side and ideas from another side, and it just works so well. So it's just constantly evolving and just growing into such a respected industry. And I think it's really amazing to see all the work that's put in from everyone, not just certain people. It's really good to see. So
You can see that symbiosis happening where men and women
yeah,
are working really well together, bouncing ideas off each other, coming from different sort of standpoints, but essentially the same, because it's
yeah,
equal opportunity in this industry.
yeah,
It's very inclusive and diverse, and we have people from everywhere. And I think more now than ever, the table's open for everybody.
yeah.
You can see everybody putting in their ideas and their innovations and really working together, especially on the groups.
Yeah,
Um,
there's no sort of limit to what you
yeah,
can and can't do.
yeah. What advice would you give to young women who are interested in pursuing a career in pest control, whether it be trainee, admin, management?
Yeah. If it's a dream or a passion of yours, or it's something you just want to try, go for it. I mean, as long as you can handle all of it, it's really not that hard, and it's not as maybe gross or scary as certain people think. Um, I'd say go for it. It's definitely a rewarding career, and there's so many paths to take, whether you do go down the office or you go office and sales or you become a technician. There's just so many different areas and so many growth opportunities for people in this industry. So it's definitely something I'd recommend to anyone who would be willing to give it a go.
I think one of the amazing things about this field is that it's not one dimensional. I think everyone I've spoken to here has sort of had different reiterations of their jobs. So they might have been in admin, they might have been in management, they might have been out in the field, they might have been, stepping to the side as a sales rep, or, there's so many different opportunities that we all have because of the knowledge that you gain as a foundation or a base. So
Yeah,
anyone coming into this industry, if you soak up the information that's out there, the world is your oyster. You can
yeah,
actually, go into any field that you like, and there's really no major barriers that I've seen. Is there anything you can think of? Have you ever had any stereotypes or anything that's been, you know, un, you know, yeah, not sort of a good way to see the world, or a stereotype or a challenge? Or I mean, the most part, we're all on pretty even stand now.
yeah. I think it's fairly even all round. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I felt like I've been approached in an uncomfortable sort of way, or that I've been like, oh, like it's an uncomfortable feeling. I feel very equal in the field that I'm in. I know that any job, if one of the boys were to call in sick, I could easily take on their load. So, or vice versa. Like it's very equal. There's no she can, he can't, he can, she can. It's very equal and easy, and
I
there's
think,
just so many different areas.
yeah, I think that's been one of the amazing things over the past few years, that it really has diversified and has been, very inclusive. And I think with so many more women coming into this, the opportunities are really endless, that you can
Yeah,
see that they can sort of step up into that tech role without any issues. There's plenty of people to rely on, to talk to now. Like, so, there's a lot of us who've got our licenses, who've been in it for quite a number of years, that you can sort of lean on if you have any questions, and like
yeah,
share those experiences as well. So I mean, coming in as a trainee or someone new to the industry, I can see that there's opportunity now to gather information from other ladies in here. And also, the men in this industry are actually very good with divulging information and sharing
yeah,
their knowledge,
yeah.
and really kind about it. So that's excellent. Do you have any particular memorable or challenging experiences that have helped shape the way that you approach pest control, like in terms of your on-site work?
Yeah, so I think my most memorable times will be the times that I spend on sites with the senior technicians. I think their knowledge is just so endless, and it's just amazing to go on site and without them even trying, they're giving you this whole spiel of all this new information that you didn't know, or just these new ways to implement the things that we're doing. And you just walk away going, I've just learned a whole new way to do a site that I've been doing for 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, so I just love going on sites with the other team members and just learning their ways and the things that they've learned along the way, and that they've picked up, and just the knowledge that they have. It's a very rewarding thing to sort of step into and walk away from, and just know that no matter how many times you're on site with that person, they always will have something for you to learn from them.
That's really good. It leads us into the next question. Collaboration and networking is essential in all industries, I feel. How have you built and maintained your professional network within the pest control community, but also outside of the pest control community?
Yeah, so within the pest control industry, it's going to all the events that are held. It's going to PestEcon. It's being part of all the Facebook groups, and making sure we're interacting with everyone and showing up to road shows and all the important little networking events that happen. Um, Outside of pest control, again, it's going to Vic Chamber events and council events, and just meeting all these people who have such a wide range of different things. And whether you end up with new clients from meeting all these new people, or just someone that you can relate to, it's so amazing to just relate with someone who's in a completely different industry to you, but relate on such a similar path. It's so important to any business and any person, because it helps with the growth of yourself and the company. And it shows you that the opportunities are really endless. And you've never done just enough by staying in your own little bubble. It's so important to share what you know, and listen to what everyone else knows and all the knowledge that's out there and around.
Yeah. How do you find it when you go to, say, like a networking event, and you tell people that you're, licensed pest controller out there doing that? Do you get like a funny reaction, or do you get like, oh, that's awesome, like that's interesting?
I usually get a really surprised, but like, go you sort of reaction.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, I wouldn't picture you in that industry, but they're so like amazed, and they just want to know all the stories and all the little ins and outs of things that you've done. And it really opens that conversation for what is pest control, other than you kill spiders and you do this and you do that. Like, what more do you do? And it's amazing to see how intrigued people are by what it is, and how little people actually know
Mm.
about the industry. And just being able to spread that word. Like, then you hear them go off to another conversation, go, oh, you should go speak to Talia, she's just told me all this stuff. It's really cool to just watch it
Isn't that
spread
great
through.
stereotype? I think whenever I've been out and people sort of say to me, oh, what do you do for a job? And I'm like, oh, in pest control. And they're like, oh, and it's
Yeah,
all like, yeah, yes, I am. And it's great.
yeah,
I love this industry, and I love all the opportunities that we have, the variety that we have day to day, and just the networking and, the support that we receive from AEPMA and everyone else in the industry, even other companies, like we work together.
yeah.
So I love that about our industry. What are some of the key qualities or skills that you believe have contributed to your success, like your personal skills that you've brought across to this industry that you feel like are really important to put into your day to day?
I think the qualities that I've brought in are just my willingness to work, and my drive to just be better each day. And just that there's never enough learning that you can do. Being open to all the opportunities you can have, and not closing yourself off to them, I think are some of the really big skills that I've gotten from pest control, and also now use on a day-to-day basis. And just managing all of that as one, and being the best version of myself for me and for pest control and EPC is something that's really important to me.
Yeah, so openness, willing to learn, and just being available to any opportunities that come your way day to day.
Yeah,
Yeah, changing. Like, you obviously sound like you're pretty open to change, and you're pretty flexible, and you go with the flow, which is probably
yeah.
an awesome thing to do when you've got so many clients. Um, how do you balance the demands of your career and pest control with your other commitments, your personal life, the things that you do outside of work?
Yeah, that'd be. I think EPC as a whole do that really well by just making sure everyone's where they need to be, and no one's overwhelmed. Everyone's got their time management laid out. If something needs to be delegated, it's delegated to someone who's up to scratch and isn't stressed out. We really make sure that everyone is feeling comfortable and happy in the position that they're in. No one's overwhelmed. It's important to have family time, and that break of just, I'm at work Monday to Friday and even sometimes Saturdays. Where's that break in your life, and where's the time that you give yourself? So we really pride ourselves on that, and making sure that everyone does have all the necessary things that they need from the work hours, but then they are also getting all of the necessary things in their personal life as well.
Sounds like EPC have a really good work-life balance for the team. Like they've really appreciated every person as an individual, and then sort of step forward knowing their strengths and, you know, push. And that's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Are there any specific goals or initiatives you have in mind for the future in terms of your work in pest control or promoting diversity, inclusion, and any big goals that you have, you know, overall?
I think for the industry, I think it's a highly respected industry for people who know it, but is such a unknown to people who don't. So personally, I just love to get it out there more, because everyone you tell, oh, like, this is pest control, this is who we are, this is what we do, they're so amazed by it. And there's always more that you can tell them. So I think just getting it out there, and continuing that high level of respect that everyone has for the industry, and just making sure people don't just think, oh, they come and spray our house. Yeah, we come and spray your house, but we do it for these reasons, and with a smile, and with all this energy, and like why we do it. So I think just continuing to spread the word, and how amazing the industry can be is really important.
Do you have any tips for anyone in the industry on how they can, you know, face that challenge and getting it out there? What do you think we could be doing? Could we, you know, be going to schools? What things can we do better in that, in your opinion, you know, that would make a difference?
I think putting out to schools, and going and visiting them on those days where all those other sort of industries go, and just putting things out on social medias, and really just putting who pest control and what it is out there, getting ourselves into all those meetings where there's people looking for work and people wanting work and not knowing where they want to go or what they want to do. By putting ourselves in front of them and showing them that this is what pest control is, I think people really change their mind and go, I could do that, and I could actually enjoy that. So I think getting out in all those sort of areas is really important to us, because I personally haven't asked or known anyone who is coming out of school and you say, what do you want to do? I've never heard someone say pest control, but after speaking with people, I've definitely heard them say, wow, that's actually an area I could do well in. So getting it out there just by all social media and going to things would be the way to start that.
Yeah, so providing people the reasons why this is a good industry and this is a good career, and that there are endless opportunities here, and that it's actually vibrant day to day. You know, it's different, it's, you know, it's flexible, it's evolving, it's not gross and dirty and yucky. It's actually coming, so it's becoming very clean, you know, it's becoming quite tidy, and it's about helping people. I mean, we solve issues for customers every single day, like, and you become like a little bit of a superhero for them, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a nice feeling. I mean, something that's probably, you know, reasonably unique to trades, and, you know, like fixing issues for people there and then, and then walking away feeling like they're protected and they're safe. I think that's a really important thing.
It's amazing. It's rewarding, and it just proves that you're not just doing a job, you're actually helping people, and that's that's
at
great.
The base level, it's about giving those people that nice feeling of being protected and safe and happy. Last question that's on my list, it may not be the last one because I did end up asking you more, but what would you say to a woman who's worried about being nominated for an award, or, you know, being pushed forward into the industry?
I'd say don't be worried. It's such a rewarding award to receive. It really proves the work you've put in is paying off. You're recognized by your peers and the people around you and the people within the industry. It's not something to be nervous about or afraid of. It's something to continue helping yourself grow and moving on to what could be next for you.
Yeah, so it's something that's a very rewarding thing to do. And how do you feel women, like in even our association, can sort of push forward for other women? How can we sort of contribute to each other more, would you think, in the day?
Yeah, networking events for women, branching that out to people who aren't a part of the industry to show them what it's about and what their role could be. Really pushing that it isn't a dominated industry by one gender more than the other, that it's an equal job. You have so many different roles. If you wanted to be on the road, there's so many women that are on the road. If you want to be in the office, there's women and men in the office. Like, just showing that there's so many different opportunities and reasons to be in this sort of industry, just to give it a go.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that's the last of my questions. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really loved chatting to you. And we will catch up with you again in another 6 months to see where you've gone and what's changed for you and what's evolved for EPC. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.